to The World Without People. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The World Without People. My name is Ayomide, and background things that make every episode interesting. But I'm really, really excited to be here. I love it when I get to meet people that, or maybe not say meet people, let me say know people that I see you all the time, your family, but we never really have those kind of deep conversations that also make a change, not just for myself, but for everybody who's going to be listening. And I didn't want the first time I had this conversation to be when I'm listening to her speak at the Mum Fund, which we'll talk about. But hello, everyone, and welcome to the episode. Like I said, I'm so excited to have Ibiyinka Ibru with me. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this.
Thank you. Especially on short notice. I just want you all to know I'm like, Ibiyinka,
I was excited. I was like, yeah, of course I'll come on the podcast. And like I said, I was surprised. I was like, my life is not interesting. Like, why would I? You want me to come on your podcast?
Ibiyinka, there's a question here for you. I'm like, wait, what? In fact, I would never have guessed it. So now I'm all kinds of cute. In fact, maybe that's what I will start with. Neuroscience?
Yeah, girl.
Neuroscience.
I studied neuroscience.
I cannot even see it, honestly, really.
Because I haven't used it for one day in my life.
You don't even understand. Like, I can't imagine that you went to neuroscience classes. You seem too light and breezy for neuroscience.
Honestly,
like, I can't imagine you going to campus and being like, oh, biochemistry today.
Like, I get that tomorrow. A lot. Like, my outside doesn't match my inside. No. Like, it really doesn't match my inside at all. Because I love that course. Like, it made me so happy. I loved everything that I learned. I loved, like, doing all the histology. It was very cool. Yes, I would do that degree again. Like, it was a great 3 years. And so the reason why it was interesting is because when you said this, I was like, yeah, so how did I end up there? Yeah. So obviously, I wanted to be a doctor, right? And when I was in, like, secondary school and A-levels, my parents would send me to do internships with people who they knew were doctors. Yeah. And your husband's father was one of them, who is a very well-known and well-respected neurosurgeon. Yeah. So, like, I did a few internships with, Dr. Shea Roberts. So that's how I got into the whole neurology, neurosurgery. And I just thought it was so interesting. And him being the person that he is, he's a good teacher. I just, like, following him around. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. So I applied to, like, 4 universities for medicine. And then I had one safe, which was neuroscience. So I was thinking, okay, if I don't get in for medicine and I do neuroscience, I can do medicine after. Because I was quite young. Yeah. I started university when I was 17. Oh, nice. So I was a bit younger than most people. So I was like, I have time. Anyway, didn't get in for medicine, got in for neuroscience. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. I'll do this for 3 years. I'll apply to med school. I had, like, a blast. Like, it was a great degree. I was in London. Nice. Yeah. I was enjoying living in London. So yeah, I have no regrets. If I had to go back to uni again, I would do the same thing.
Interesting.
I would do the same thing. So this is just so interesting. I'm like, yes, your husband's dad, girl. He influenced all my career choices.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and so yes, that's the connection, by the way. But you have to go back because I always like to find out who is my guest, right? Like, and not what I saw, of course, with Claude and all the help of Google and all of that stuff. So who, if you were going to describe yourself, who would you say? And you have to give me all the, high school, secondary school, primary school, all of that. You have to give me the whole
history.
Yeah.
I would say that, first of all, I still feel like I'm just a girl. Like, honestly, that's how I see myself. Like, I'm actually just a girl. So first of 4 children, first daughter, first granddaughter, at least on my mom's side. So just, like, I guess that responsibility, a bit of that pressure. Yeah. Always the good girl. Yeah. I kind of, like, always did everything right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, if you ask my parents, like, oh, name one, like, scandal or one, like, terrible thing I did, you can't find, like, there's nothing in my history. It was, like, very smooth sailing. Went to primary school, no issues there. I was always in, like, the top 10%. And this is not me bragging. This is just to say, there were expectations of you when you're, like, the first daughter and, like, the first granddaughter, and everybody's looking to you. So I just always
of Ondo royalty, by the way.
Yes, that part.
Of Ondo royalty, by the way.
So I just always felt like, I guess I would say I always felt pressure to be, like, perfect. Yeah. So, like, primary school, secondary school, did all the things, did the extracurriculars, was always kind of, like, in the top. At least I would never come less than 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least back when they used to do positions, they don't do that now.
They don't.
All these Ajebota schools, my children's school don't do it. They don't do it anymore. Okay. Anyway, so that children will not be feeling bad. Okay.
I don't know. I have thoughts, but
I have a lot of thoughts about that, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. And then again, when I really look back to why did I want to become a doctor, because I was good at science and math, and my granddad just said it one day. He was like, "Oh, you should become a doctor." And I wanted to make my family proud, and I was like, "Well, I do like science and math, so maybe I should become a doctor." And like that's where that came from. So yeah, I've always been like the good girl, good child, you know, just kind of do everything right. I did neuroscience. I graduated. I came back. The day I came back, I met my husband. I married.
Really?
Literally, yeah.
The day you came back?
I unpacked my suitcase, and then my cousin, Tenny, was like, "Oh, you just got back. Do you want to go to the beach?" I was like, "Sure." And then I went to the beach, and you know, like he's friends with my husband. He was like, "Oh, like my friend is here," and like that's how.
Really?
Yeah, that's how we met. Yeah, I was like, literally, that's how we met. So divine. I always made fun of my husband. I was like, "You didn't want me to see any other man in Lagos."
He's like, done and done. That is so cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
That's why I was saying, I was like, my life is not interesting. Like nothing has happened.
But that is actually really interesting. I mean, how many people find that? Like, I mean, for one, I mean, I know you're. Let me not say your age, but I'm just saying, like, you're young enough where, like, it's good to now, and it was not just. Like, you know how, like, now you've been married, at least 5 years, right? And you can still look... Yeah, exactly. And you can still look back and it's been good. And it's a good family. Your family has grown in many ways and it's become a larger, you know... I don't know. I think for me, that's also very interesting because sometimes also... You hear only the bad.
Yeah, true.
Like, everybody's just talking about, oh, there's no man out there, there's no this, there's no that, there's no... And even, for example, the idea of coming back. Like sometimes I tell people, just move. Like literally, you're complaining about no man, move. Go to another city. Go to
like just go somewhere else.
And the rest they say is history. So I really think that's cool. Okay, no wait, what primary school?
Oh, Grange. I went to Grange Primary School, Grange Secondary School, and then St. Catherine's girls' school, like A-levels in Bramley. In Surrey.
Okay. All right. I don't know anybody who went to Grange. I wanted to see if there was family connections. I mean, apart from the fact that we're both Ondo as well. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's beyond our husband because, you know, anyways, whatever. Okay. All right. So you saw yourself as a good girl. Do you still think you're a good girl? Like, I mean, obviously you're.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I still am. I actually still am. Like, I feel like now it's not as much of a driving force, like trying to make everybody happy. Because now that I'm aware that that was the thing that was driving my whole life, I don't do that anymore. But like, still nothing, I don't know, like nothing is happening. I don't have any reason to fight my parents. You don't have any reason to be fighting me. I don't fight anybody. I'm just sticking along, really. Like,
I also think it's just a matter of like, even like reputation wise, like,
it's not my brand.
It's not your brand. May God bless you. It's not your brand. Like, why would I even want to spoil that brand?
Yeah, it's really not my brand. I'm just out here, you know, unproblematic. And I feel like a lot of my friends use that word to describe me. Like, oh, Ibi is very unproblematic. Like, I do not like to have problems. I just like everything should be chilled.
As it is. Cool. Yeah. Okay, so then you go from neuroscience to wealth management.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like this is where my story could be like a little interesting.
Okay.
This is like the only time that I really like deviated from
what the family expected.
Yeah, what people expected. Yeah. So remember I said I graduated, I moved back. I met my husband on the first day I moved back. And then after we had been together for like the first 6 months. Oh, sorry. When I moved back, I had gotten into medical school. So the plan was move back, do NYC for a year because I graduated when I was 19. And I was supposed to be going to medical school like in the States. I technically wasn't an adult because I think the age is like 21. So my parents were like, you're a bit young. We don't want to send you to the other side of the world by yourself. Like come home for a year, do NYC, then you go. So I deferred for a year, came back to Nigeria, met my husband. I had been with him for 6 months. And then all of a sudden... going to America for 4 years was just getting a bit long. I was like, this is like
missing out
being
on that
a bit long. And then also, like, we have to talk about how Nigerians kill dreams. I moved back to Nigeria and I had 2 jobs lined up for NYSC. One was at Reddington, like through Dr. Shea Roberts. He got me like a job at Reddington. And then the other, so I did private hospital and then I did public hospital, Massey Street Children's Hospital. Both fantastic hospitals, right? But I just saw things I could not unsee. Like I saw things I could not unsee because up until that point I had been educated abroad. So my idea of what it meant to practice medicine, like the idea of what I had and then the reality of what this is what it's going to be like if I practice here in Lagos, in
Yeah.
the specialty I want to practice in, I was like, I feel like my eyes opened.
Yeah.
And like there was one day, like I came to work, just doing my thing. I was trying to just like get on with it. And then one of the junior doctors, they were just like, you said, what are you doing? Don't waste your life. Oh. You want to go and study for 6 years. Do you know how much junior bankers are making that only went to school for 3 years?
Yep.
I sat down and thought about it. I said, it's true. He said, instead of it, just go and do finance or something. I said, that was how I changed my mind. He said, I could never forget. He was actually having a bad day. He was like, don't go and waste your life. You want to go to school for years.
Yeah.
You now be earning rubbish money like us. But people that went to school for 3 years and they are working in the bank, they are making more money than us. He was like, go and do finance. I was like, bet.
Interesting.
And then I changed my mind. And instead of going to medical school, I went to business school.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like, I feel like Nigeria is what caused me to change courses. I was like, I actually don't want to do, like, if this is what it means in this context, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But one thing that has been constant, because it can seem like a big deviation,
Yeah.
but I've always wanted to help people.
Yeah.
Like, that has been my whole, like, career ethos.
Yeah.
Being a doctor is kind of straightforward. If you're a doctor, you're obviously helping people now,
Yeah.
like helping people get, so it's easy to see.
Yeah.
And that's why I was drawn to it. So I'm like, okay, every day I go to work, somebody's life will be better.
Yeah.
So that's why I really wanted to be a doctor. From the finance thing, like, okay, yes, it was selfishly motivated at first because I love money. I really do. I was like, like when he said that thing about money, about the people in the bank are making more money to us and they went to school for half the time, I was like, that math does not math.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I was like, it shook me. Like I had never thought about it that way. I was like, okay, well, first of all, I really like money. So let's put that on the table. I think like people lie to themselves about that.
Oh, no.
It has been clear to me from day one. I was like, me, Ibiyinka Ibru, I have to have money. That's what I
love it.
And then I was like, okay, like there is a way that you can help people. Like I could see how important like money and finance, like to just your everyday life. You can't do anything if you don't have your finances in order. So I decided to not go to medical school and go to business school because I always knew I wanted to live in Nigeria. Nowhere else has ever felt like home to me. I was in London for 10 years. It never felt like home. I was like, I want to live in Nigeria. And if this is what it means to do what I want to do in Nigeria, I have to find a situation that is tenable for me.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like the best decision I've ever made. I'm actually really happy that that disgruntled doctor talked me into changing the course of my life. Otherwise, I don't even know where I would be. I'd probably be in the States as a surgeon.
It actually really makes sense. Sometimes we talk about like, there's no doctors in Nigeria, and they're all traveling. But it makes sense. One, lack of medical resources, lack of finance, and all the and then like you said, maybe you're already in it and you're starting to see all the problems as opposed to solutions or whatever. So it makes sense to me now that, in fact, even sometimes when I think about your entire family, I'm like, all the adults, doctor this, doctor that, doctor that. It kind of skipped all the many generations. I think there's only one person is a doctor. Yeah, one person is a doctor. There's only one person that is a doctor in the entire...
I was supposed to be the doctor for our side. I was really supposed... Everybody was at their hopes.
I'm sure, and dreams.
Even people that haven't seen me in a long time, they just assume I'm a doctor. I'm like, oh no, something's changed along the way.
No, I mean, see, I totally guess it. It's also, well, to be fair, I think America just kind of killed that dream for me as well. But that's why I did PhD instead of medical doctor. But to your point about wanting to help and everything, but I can imagine that, because I've seen so many people leave Nigeria, medical route and all of that. And you can now see why that makes sense.
For sure.
And you're right. Even those of us who go academics, I've often thought of people that with undergrad degree, they were making much more than I could ever dream of. And I'm like, what are you doing with your life? I've thought about it. I might still change career at this point. But I think it's so interesting that it's a disgruntled, like it wasn't you sat down and you had like this life-altering, like...
But I was like, bro, he's right. I was like, he's actually right. And I just reevaluated my whole life at that point.
So how did you have that conversation with your parents?
It was not an easy conversation to have. Like, my parents was kind of like, first of all, they thought it was because of my boyfriend, who is now my husband. I mean, was it? Half. Probably, yeah. Now, I'm not like, if there's anybody young and impressionable listening, I do not advise that you do that. I was very lucky in that I actually ended up marrying the person. But like, I was 20 years old. Okay, I wasn't. I don't know what to tell you. I was 20 years old. Okay, my boyfriend did have like it influenced that because I was just like, I don't really want to move that far away for like that long. But it wasn't just that.
Yeah.
And then I had to, like, my dad made me sit down and do like a whole like career path. Because when you're a doctor, you're kind of like on a path.
Yeah.
Okay, he was like, okay, if you go and do this managements that you want to go and do, where are you going to go from there?
Yeah.
What's next? What's going to be your career progression? So my dad really made me like sit down and like think about it. And then my dad is extra. He made me like come and present it to him, like, oh, what the plan for your life? I'm like, bro, whatever. But anyway, so like it wasn't just like, oh, by the way, I'm not going again. Like I really had to like justify, defend, write reports, present the reports, like, so that they'll be like, yeah, okay, you're serious.
Yeah, but to your point about impressionable young people, I think, you know, that's the thing. Like I always tell people, like, now, say for example, you decide you don't want to do this job and you're telling the next person and you're saying, oh, you want to go that way. Give me a solution. Tell me,
like a reason. Yes, like what's your plan?
Do you understand? What are you going to do? How is it going to? Because you can't just make these things up. Yes, some people are lucky enough and things have just worked out. But, you know, having that clear path, even if you don't know what the result is going to be, because you still cannot, you know 5 years from now what is going to happen or whatever. But the more information you have right now, I think the better you can make an informed decision later. And I think for me that is possible. Okay, all right. So I know one of the things I've seen you write was this idea of, okay, you know, wanting to now finally go into what you called intentional wealth creation, right? And part of why you had done this was like, you're like, hey, what do I have to show for all of this stuff that I've been doing? What was that moment? Not necessarily the lesson, but like, because like you said, you like money. So what made you think, okay, this is the pathway that I want to take now to, one, build my own company and then, you know, make it a company that helps others understand their wealth?
People. Wow. Okay. So the question is around like, why did I start Money Start?
Yes.
Okay. So it's an interesting question because I didn't mean to.
Okay.
And I'll explain what I mean. What I actually set out to do was build a personal brand. I thought that was what I was doing.
I see.
So at the time, I had a full-time job and I was up for a promotion. And it was between me and another guy. And my boss at the time had told me that, look, you guys are, you know, on par. There's really you're both as good as each other.
Yeah.
So it's a very tough decision to make. We don't know what to make decision based off on. But he said, I think if you had a personal brand outside of work that showed that you are passionate about, you know, something kind of related to this industry, like it would help like set you apart. So I was like, okay, cool, interesting. So I set out trying to do this personal brand. I was okay, I'll create an Instagram page. I'll do my LinkedIn. I'll brush up my LinkedIn. I'll start posting. I started posting. I was like, okay, what can I talk about forever? I was like, I can talk about money, like personal finance. To me, it just seemed obvious. Like I thought I would be saying things that wasn't new to anybody. When I say anybody, I mean anybody over the age of 25.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was targeting like my brother's friends. My brothers are 10 years younger than me. So people who are just getting into their first job and starting to make their own money for the first time. So I'm like, okay, what would I have liked to know when I was like 21 years old and had just entered the workforce? So that's what I thought I was targeting. What then happened was that people in their 30s, every time I post was like, send me a message, send me a DM. This was so helpful. What is an ETF? How do I do this? Can you help me invest? Like, but by the time I got that, can you help me invest question the 20th time, I just said yes. I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, fine. I'll figure this. I'll just have to figure this out because there's clearly something here. Yeah. And then I went to the company I used, like my first ever job, like was an asset management company. And I was like, hey guys, like, can I set up like a referral thing where I can refer people to you guys? And then from there, like Money Start just like, people, I keep saying that like my community built Money Start. I did not start with a business plan. I didn't start with any intention to launch a business. I was trying to grow in my 9 to 5. And then people just kept asking me to invest for them and asking me to do things. And can you come and speak? And can you do a workshop? Can you do this? And I was like, wait, so this is really a business because low key, how have I made more? And I had a high paying job at the time. Like it was like a very high paying job. And I was like, this is my side hustle. Personal brand has paid me more consistently. I'm like, okay, I think there's something here. So I think that Money Start came about organically, which is good.
Yes.
It's a good sign. And I love, like I said, I love helping people. Like it's all I want to do is help people. So if like 20 people are like, oh, can you help me? Can you help me? Like I find it like almost impossible to say no. It's like, I want to figure out how to help you. So you know what? Yeah, I will help you. And then that's how Money Start was built. And I feel like, you know, obviously I worked very hard. And I think that like all the work I had done in my career up until that point, because I started Money Start when I was 9 years into my career. So I think knowing people in the industry helped a lot.
Yeah.
Like it just helped me when I decided, okay, this is what I want to build.
Yeah.
It was easy to build it very quickly.
Yeah.
It's only been 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been like forever.
Yeah.
It really hasn't been long.
Yeah.
And like right now, I remember the first person that asked us to invest $5,000. And I was like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
Like you trust us with that? I was so happy.
Oh.
And like now I'm managing $6.5 million. I was like, how did I get here? Like this is crazy. 2 years ago, I would have never, ever, ever guessed that this is what I would be doing and this is where I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but like
amazing.
in the best way.
Yes,
In the best
absolutely.
way.
So I guess let's go back now to, I guess, talking to the people per se. One of the things you had talked about was, again, like you said, that feeling of what do I have to show for it, right?
Yeah.
And you are somebody with, again, in this case, education, you had,
Yep.
the privilege and all of that. So what does that tell us about what nobody teaches us about how to handle money?
How to handle money.
Yes.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like I just thought that like all I had to do was because people don't talk about things.
Yeah.
So I was making decisions when I first entered the workforce based on just what I see.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you go to work, you start working, and then after a few years like this, you just have money, you just be rich. Like you just keep working, just be collecting your salary, you'll be earning more money, and you just be paying your bills, everything will be okay. I used to think that everybody paid their bills from their monthly salary, like all their bills, like their house rents, everything. Like when I say I was naive, I was like, nobody told me. So my first job, I was working in financial services and I got to work across the whole group. So I was working like, close to people in asset management. So I was like, I can see what you guys are doing. So I knew about investments. I was knowledgeable about all of that stuff. I knew what they were doing for like people's assets. But for some reason, I just still was like on the track of, okay, just my salary, and like my salary will increase and that'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think I had some money, like money market funds when that was it. Turning point came for me when I was planning my wedding because weddings are extremely expensive. And then also that's the turning point of, at this point, I am now like really responsible for my life because before it wasn't that deep. You know, when you're a child and like, you're like, I'm kind of broke. I'm living in my father's house. I will still eat. I don't know who is paying for petrol. What's my business? I don't know who's paying for the gen. Like if I'm really broke, my mother will look at me with pity and give me 20K. Like it's just like life wasn't deep yet. When I was planning my wedding, I was like, wait, come on. Ibiyinka, you've been working for 4 years. You have a good job. It's time to plan your wedding now to bring out money. You can't, like, where did it go? What did you do? What have you been doing? What magic did you think was going to happen? And that's when I started like asking questions. I started asking people questions. And I was like, I think I still started at the top. Like I started asking like my rich aunties. I was like, Auntie, how did you pay for this? Because my salary right now, I think my salary at the time when I was getting married was like 350K. I was like, if they just keep increasing it by 10K, like the math, actually 10%, I was like, the math actually isn't, like, how on earth am I going to be able to afford to send my children to school in London? And then all of a sudden, it just like kind of dawned on me, like, wait, this isn't it. Like, I was like, this isn't it.
We are still talking 350K. You are thinking children.
No, like I was thinking about my whole life. I was like, wait, come on. I must be somebody's wife. That means like I'm going to be the madam of the house. Like I think somebody's going to be looking at me. I was like, oh no. I'm not there. Like this is not it. So I started asking questions. I started asking people a lot of questions. Like I think things are a bit antisocial to bring up. I mean, obviously not just any random person. People I trusted. So people who are older than me. And then I started asking my friends questions. So you know how you have friends that like just really appear that they have their ish together, like my sensible friends, my smart friends. I'm like, guy, come on, this is the situation at hand. Like, I don't have money and I don't really know why. Like, how are you doing it? Come to find out, you two, you don't have money. Like, I'm like, okay, come let's go ask our other friend who also seems like, you two, you don't have money. So all of us, what are we doing? Like, what's the plan? Like, why does nobody know what they're doing? So then when I started my own journey, obviously because I worked in the industry, I think it was easier for me because I had proximity and I had access and I understood it. But I guess I never really, I just kind of thought it was something I would do when I was older and I was like rich, which is very silly. It's actually hustling backwards. You have to start now so that you can become rich. Something I didn't know. I was like, when I get there, like when I'm a manager, and I'll just be putting like 10 million, 10
off,
I don't know. It was very misguided. So I feel like when I was supposed to now be responsible for my own life and I had to take a hard look at what do I actually own? Absolutely nothing. I have no assets. I have some low money markets funds, but I am living off of the back of my parents, and it's giving me a false sense of security. And now that I need to, and when I say on my own, of course I'm getting married and I have my husband, but like I'm thinking about, I'm like, if they told me to buy AC now in my marital home, can I do it? I can't. So that's embarrassing. You've been working for 4 years. What did you do with your money? And I was so embarrassed, and I just felt like this is bad, and I need to change my life.
Okay. All right. I wanted to ask why, because you keep saying intentional wealth building in a lot of ways. So what's the opposite of intentional when it comes to money?
Okay, intentional, not intentional is like, you know how when you wake up in the morning and on the days that you don't have like a plan for your day or like a schedule, you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's already 4 o'clock. Where did the time go? Money is the exact same way. When you don't have a plan for your money, if you like have 50 million, 100 million in your account, oh my gosh, where did the money go? Like, what did I do with it? It is exactly the same way. So when I say intentional, it's about thinking about your personal finances as like a system, like having a framework for it, because I have a framework for everything and I layer them on top of each other. So I have one for budgeting and tracking my expenses. I have a strategy around saving. I have a strategy and a framework around investing. And all of those things need to work together in addition with making sure that your income is stable, growing, and diversified. They all need to work together for you to actually build wealth. Because I had to break it down into like different segments, because what I did the first time when I was like, I panicked. I was like, oh my days, I need to start investing now if that's the thing that's going to... I just put all my money into investments. And then I had like, you know, a pipe burst in my house, you know, something happened in my car. I was now I was stranded. I was now like rushing to try and sell my investments. But, you know, this is back in talking about 2015, 2016. All these fintech apps went around. So you want to liquidate your investments. You're going to wait for 3 days now. You fill the form, you email it to the person. They tell you, okay, 3 working days. You're looking. You're like, I need the money like right. I need the money like right now. Of course, tracking expenses. When I started my career, NYC, I was earning 70K. And then when they confirmed me, I moved to 200K. I was really happy because in 2014, 21 years ago, I didn't have any responsibilities. Balling. Like, I remember on that 200K salary, I was in London. I brought a Prada wallet. Like, I don't know, like when you think about like inflation and FX, any whatever, let me not get into it. But like 200K was like a decent salary.
No, but seriously,
at
like
that
I can't even imagine what 200K does now. Like it's so
let's not even get into that. So I remember at that 200K, I was saying, okay, if I can like increase my earnings like 3x, like imagine if I could earn 600K. Oh my God, like I'm going to save so much, I invest so much. Like even at that point, I'm sure that by the time I'm 35, I'll even retire. I'm 32 now. No,
3 more years. Nothing
it's not happening.
Nothing God cannot
but
do.
I remember it happened. So like I did increase my earnings 3 times. I was actually earning 750K. I was not tracking what I was spending money on. And the same me that was spending all that money before, I remember thinking, what will I even spend 750K on? Oh, girl, I spent it. I spent it like mad. So like the tracking expenses had to come in because I was like, obviously you have no self-control. You really have to track your expenses. You really have to have a budget. You really need to have a strategy around having savings and like knowing what your goals are. Like, what is your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? What are things that you know are going to come up? And then with investing, what are you investing for? So like I really had to take myself through that process. And that took me like 2.5 years to perfect. And it takes people a much longer time because trial and error. I learned from other people's mistakes. Like I said, I just ask people like uncomfortable questions. Like I would ask my boss, I would be like, how much do you earn? I'm not asking because I want a raise. Like I want to know how much you earn. How do you pay for your car? Like those questions that people don't ask other people. Like I will ask the question. I'll be like, you can tell me to piss off. Like you don't have to answer, but like if you want to answer, I really want to know like how did you do that? So like just asking people questions and then finding out like the answers from people that had figured it out with trial and error. And then second of all, finding out that actually most people don't really know what they're doing. And a lot of things are not what they seem. So I learned that like quite early.
That's really cool, actually. Like, it's so funny because to your point, trial and error, I feel like I've been doing that off and on for years. And I've just like, you know, doing it consistently, but you just said something now, strategy. So now in my head, I'm like, okay, what can I automate to make this a consistent thing? So I'm not even like like I told you earlier, I spent the whole day today. I'm like, because I'm not going to come into this conversation and it's just going to be like, because I do know how to do it, like at least, you know, for the most part. But it's like, at the end of the day, like if I have to even be doing some of this manual work, I'm like, I need to figure out a way to automate this thing, strategize, you know, on where I know, okay, before the month, you know, is over, or at the beginning of the month, what are we working with? How, you know, what did last month look like? You know, that kind of thing. So I think it's quite important what you're saying, the strategy. And it brings me to my next question, because I know one of the things, like you said, you want to help people, which I think in personal finance, you don't really hear that a lot. Everybody's just more about making money, which is fine. Like, but they don't also help you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference. I think they I don't know how to explain it. Like, you hear them talk about this idea of you need to budget, you need to save, you need to, but how do you handhold, if you have to, that person to now help them make more money? And I know that's something you're really passionate about. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Not too much, so you don't give all your strategy away.
Yeah, sure. So one thing that I found was that, like, there's nothing that's new in personal finance. Literally since the Roman ages, like nothing is new. The principles remain the same. But like you said, on Instagram, everybody's motivations are different. There's some people that just want you to know how smart they are. Until one day, when I was in year 4, I'll never forget, I was 8 years old and I had a teacher that explained the maths to me in English. And I was like, oh, I get it now. And then from there, like, maths was always my favorite subject. So I can explain finance to people, like, in English. And like, this is not as hard as they are making it out to seem. It's actually not hard at all. And you can do it. So when it comes to hand holding, I feel like, first of all, understanding where people are approaching it from, because everybody, like, before you get into the like technicalities of what you're actually going to do, everybody has a bias or like a mindset towards money. And you build that when you are a child. Okay. It's like the things that your parents say, your environment, the things that you have observed. That is what is going to determine whether your emotional response to money is fear, is anxiety, is anger, or is neutral, is excitement, whatever it is. I feel like that actually has significantly more to do with the level of hand-holding I have to do. Of course, the clients who have more like trauma around money, fear around money, anxiety around money, it's not like they don't know what to do. It's more about, I found, like, I need to dismantle some of the like misconceptions and like biases that you have, so that you can be effective in carrying out the strategies I have laid out before you. Okay. So that is a very important step I think a lot of people miss. I never just start with, okay, you know, we've had a, like, I have your profile. By the time I have somebody's profile, I already know what we're going to do. I don't have to talk to you. I know exactly what we're going to do. But the reason I make sure I talk to everybody and have the initial consultation is I need to find out where your brain is at. Because for some people, it's enough for me to be like, okay, this is step 1, this is what you need to do, and they can go and do it. So people, I have to stay with them on the call, literally as they're transferring to their money market account that I open for them. Just because last minute anxiety, fear, I saw a percentage, I don't understand. Like, just like, I'll stay on the call with you, like, this is what we're doing, this is why we are doing it, just kind of like taking you back to like the center and be like, making you be like, you're safe, like we're safe, like there's nothing bad is going to happen if you do this. And then I think, like, second of all, when it comes to understanding, because the people that have been here for, everybody knows that you should invest now. Invest, but like, invest in what? Right? And so I think that in terms of like investing, that knowledge piece, especially for women, like, so many questions that you feel like embarrassed to answer, or like you just feel like you should know the answer, or it's just been a hindrance to you. Like, okay, why should I invest in a money market one as opposed to T-bills? What's the difference between T-bills and this one? My banker said I should come and do deposits and they'll give me X%. What's that one? Why would I do that one and not this one? What about I want to invest in like this startup? I heard that GTCO is doing dividends now. Should I also invest in there? Like, so, you know, like, you have all these. There's so much coming at you because there's social media. You don't want to miss out, but you just kind of a bit all over the place. Like, you also don't have unlimited resources, so it's not like you can invest in everything at the same time. So for me, like, that hand holding, it is very important, because I think that once you've, like, the scariest part is like starting. Then when you start having a strategy, so that it's rinse and repeat. I actually don't want to have clients forever. Like ideally, you come in, we work together for a year, maybe 2 years, and then you cycle out and you continue.
Yeah.
You just continue because you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You have your goals. You know kind of like what each investment is doing for you.
Yeah.
I've had clients that have come to me and they have, I'm literally not joking, they have 7 different money market funds with like everybody in Lagos because they're like, okay, I just want you to be doing investments. I'm like, you know that all your money is doing the same job right now because you have 7 of the same. It's like going and buying the same pair of trousers in Zara, and in H&M, in Topshop. Like you went to go and buy the same pair of black trousers in every single store. I'm like, that is exactly what you've done, and this person has no idea. They just know that they are your investments. I've been doing investments, all the different investments. I'm like, no, you did all the same investments. So I think that knowledge piece is so important. Like you need to understand like what job your monies are doing in these different investments. So like I think that's why people like Money Star, because we do handhold, we will explain it to you. We will not do anything until like you know what you're doing and like you're comfortable. As you're doing this, we'll stay on the phone with you. We'll help you open the account so you don't have to do all the admin and like I don't have all my documents. We'll do all that work for you. You're about to transfer the money. You now have cold feet. You don't remember that it's my cousin's wedding. like we'll stay on the phone with you and do it. So I think that it's just really important because you need somebody to just like help you, like just bring you to the other side, and then it's not that scary.
No, but that's a really good analogy. Now I'm trying to think, I have different investments. We'll talk about it later, but I'm like, that's a really good analogy. Buying the same pair of pants in different, stores, as opposed to the fact that you're actually really diversifying. Because again, in your mind, you're diversifying. You put in different, portfolios, but not necessarily different strategies, I guess, or investment types, or that kind of thing. So that is a really good analogy. I've never thought about it before. And now the neuroscience makes sense. That was going to be my next question, but you kind of already talked about it. Because, I always tell people that my first degree is psychology, and I always feel like it's the most important thing that I ever did because I'm able to kind of think through people's motivations and why did they do that, and, ask the questions. And I feel like that's I love
psychology. Psychology was a big part of our degree.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could choose your electives, and my elective was psychology. Oh, nice. I loved psychology, like psychology and philosophy. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, but I see that you're using it practically to be able to then, like you said, because that's when you remember somebody has Let's not even talk about the price of Ashobi nowadays, but okay. All right, so then let me ask you this way. We've talked about like removing some of this financial shame, basically in how you've kind of described it. But is it possible that some shame is useful? Like that discomfort of looking at your bank account is what finally moves you to act?
That's a great question. Yeah. Yes. Sometimes you have to be ashamed. Like I said, I was ashamed. I was ashamed for myself. That's why I had to decide. I was like, Ibiyinka, you have to change your life now. This is bad.
Yeah.
Is it good? But look at what you're doing. Is it good?
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to be able to have like, I would say like a healthy amount of shame that would just mean like, don't do this thing because it will be embarrassing for you. Yeah. Like, don't let other people shame you. Like, it's okay to shame yourself like internally a bit. Yeah. It's going to motivate you to making positive change. Yeah. So I think that, healthy amounts of shame is good. Or you have to have a healthy amount of shame. Otherwise, you will make mistakes. It's kind of like fear, where like it's not always good to have no fear because sometimes fear is a good thing. Fear will tell you that there is danger around the corner and you need to navigate around that. So that's a good question. I guess in terms of shame, I mean like the shame that cripples. You don't want that. That just kind of like destabilizes you, demotivates you, and just keeps you stuck in place. But you want shame where you're like, oh, I should be doing better. I need to change my life.
Okay, fair enough. All right, now of course, Nigeria, like you have mentioned severally, we don't like talking about money. Why do you think? I still feel like now, like I feel like we should have gotten past this by now. And I don't understand, why does that silence exist? Why do we not want to talk about money?
There's so many reasons. First, when I say like first of all, culturally, black tax.
I mean, fair enough.
Please, no one needs to know how much money you have. Yeah. Black tax is wild here. By the time people know that, okay, so this person has, okay, please, grandma's 80th is coming. We're doing this, so before you know it, money is going to be leaving your account anyhow. So that's number one. I feel like that's why a lot of people don't talk about money. Then the second is like, feeling like you have to keep up with people. I can't speak for the whole of Nigeria. My perspective is very Lagos based because I've lived in Lagos is my only, it's the only place in Nigeria I've lived, where I feel like, especially in like the society that I grew up in, it just feels like everybody, I don't know. this society is very like, people really want you to know like they have money.
Yeah.
Even if they don't have money. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And maybe if they had money before and they don't really have money now, nobody should know that they are
they've gone down.
Yeah, that you have gone down. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I just feel like nobody really talks about the reality of what's going on because there's that fear of what everybody else seems to have it.
Yeah.
Seems to have it figured out. So like, let me just, package like I have it figured out too.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think number 3 is that people are superstitious. That's a very Nigerian thing. It's very superstitious. I don't go and say before your enemies. And I remember when I started Money Start and one of my aunts called me and she was really concerned and she was like, you're posting all these videos on the internet for everybody to see. You're talking about money. That's how people will start looking into you. People will start looking into. I was like, looking into what? Like, and she was just scared for me that don't be drawing attention for people to be looking at how much money you may have or may not have. Don't be talking about money. You just keep quiet. So don't invite any trouble. I was like, why would this be inviting trouble? I'm not talking about come and see my bank account.
Exactly.
I'm talking about
you're not showing them your house, you're not,
Again, people are superstitious around that kind of thing. So people just tend to like shy away from it.
Yeah.
And then I think that I think this is the last reason. Really just not knowing what you're doing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
and maybe that's where we should keep it at because but let me ask you like this. What do you think we're losing as a community?
Oh my gosh, so much. So this is part of why I'm having why we started the Mom Fund event.
Yes.
So I was like, especially amongst us girls, there's too much that we're leaving on the table because every time my husband and his friends get together, talking about money, business, the next deal they're going to do together, the next business they're going to start together. My husband has gone into business with like most of his friends. And I was like, all of my friends are brilliant. They're all like Ivy League educated or like top tier educations, fantastic jobs. I'm like, when we get together, what do we talk about? Stupid gist, our children, hair, Real Housewives. I'm like, actually, between when I think about like my 5 closest friends, me in finance, lawyer, we have 2 lawyers, somebody in finance, we have somebody in development. I'm like, do you know that between all of us here, we can actually build a conglomerate because what's stopping us? And like we have the sense and we have the experience when we get together, stupid gist. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with stupid gist though.
You
love your
relax,
girlfriends, you love stupid gist. But I'm like, do you know what? Every once in a while, we could just talk about like, I heard about this investment opportunity. Not any so it doesn't have to be a whole like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I just heard about this investment opportunity. What do you guys think? Have you done something like this before? Do you think I should do it? It's like trying to just make it normal for conversations to steer around that way.
Yeah.
And that was something I really loved about when I started my business. That people were like, oh, it's just so nice to hear somebody like talking about money. And like I went and I showed my friend your video and then we started talking about it. And I'm like, oh my days, that's exactly what I wanted to happen. Like, let's just make it a bit more normal. So when I say we're leaving things on the table, aside from like missed opportunities in terms of things you can collaborate on, there's no problem that's new under the sun. If there's something you are trying to figure out, there's a 99.9% chance that somebody else, another woman, is in your exact same situation.
100%.
And when it comes to money, I feel like that isolation piece is really what is like holding women back. So of course there's a patriarchy. Of course there's like social conditioning. But that isolation and that quietness, that is a big part of the problem. I'm not saying that you should go and tell your problems or your situations or your blockers or your wins to like every single person you come across, but you know your people, you know your safe places. And then you should be able to have those conversations because they will unlock so many things that you did not know. So like you may be good in one area, somebody else may be good in one area. You have a conversation, is better. It's like, for example, I like your braids. My own braid person is not good. I want to be having nice braids. When did you do your braids? I saw that you bought this thing or like this investments that you did. Please, I also want to do the investment. Where did you find this? Not that you'll be keeping quiet. I don't want to tell my friend that I did this thing. That's how they're looking at me somehow. And then like, please, let's just like
No, I mean you make perfect sense. I used to always say for the longest time that I didn't have a lot of female friends, and because I'm like I don't want to be talking about stupid but can we talk? And then my guy friends were the ones who kind of put me on, and so I'm loving it when the more and more I see, obviously, females talk about money. Like you said, I feel like that's where I'm getting to now. Like I'm getting to that point where I'm like, I love money. What are we gonna do about it? How am I going to? So like I said, we'll talk about it. But it's like, let's be real. We have we want all these things and they don't just come
They
from
don't come
trees.
from the
So
sky,
how are we
yeah.
going to get there and how are we going to
Yeah.
make it happen? Before I go on, I do have still a few more questions.
Okay.
But I want you to talk a little bit about Mom Fun because that's coming up and I'm so excited that we
yeah.
get to do this and it will come out before Mom Fun
Yes,
happens.
I was so excited.
yes.
Okay, so the Mom Fund event is happening on the 15th of May. It's not just another event. Like the way that my business partner Faye on the event, so it's like both of our companies are collaborating.
Yeah.
So I run Money Starts as a financial planning, financial education firm. My friend Faye, she's been my best friend for like 20 years or something ridiculous. She has a company, it's called the Motherwell Group. She has a motherhood podcast, and then she also has an AI-powered app called Swaddle that helps mothers like organize their lives and their children's lives. I was like, look, I want to have a finance event. I want to have it for women in a way that is impactful and real and speaks to a direct problem. Because there are too many of these women in finance, she for finance. I'm like, it's boring.
Yeah.
Because a lot of companies just use them as like box ticking exercises.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we gathered women, we told them about money,
Yeah.
but are doing things for women in a way that is supposed to be empowering, but it feels a bit condescending.
Yeah.
Like money is not something that you need to like drip feed to women. Like it's not hard.
Yeah.
Okay, like don't do it like it's hard. And then she has this incredible community of mothers. And we were talking about how, for me, in terms of my career and my finances, the thing that really changed things was when I had kids. Because first of all, there is the cost of like children are expensive. And then there's the opportunity cost of things that you may no longer be able to do, depending on how your pregnancy is. Maybe if like your support system, your care. And then there's the social and society conditioning of Nigeria that is like essentially, why are you putting your job before your children? Why are you so like, career? Who's looking after your children? So I was like, I think I want to do this for mothers because I feel like a lot of mothers are in a chokehold. I've had clients come to Money Start. I want to say for my children, okay, 50 million naira, I want to put it towards education for my children. Fantastic. Okay, cool, let's do it. How about you? Didn't even occur to her. I was like, so you don't have any plan. Your plan is that your husband or your children will take care of you. Ma'am, no. No. Sorry, like whoever I'm dragging right now, I apologize to you people, but absolutely not. You can put yourself on the list of priorities,
Absolutely.
right? So that was kind of what the first edition. Our first event was in 2025.
Yeah,
it was incredible. I know I was sound biased, but you guys got checked it, so it was fabulous. And it was about that mindset shift. I was like, the first thing we need to do is a mindset shift.
Yeah.
I don't want to be able to I don't want to just talk. I want people to be able to do things at the event. So like we partner with sponsors where people will be able to invest like on that day, like make a change, make a move. This year it's called My Sister's Keeper.
Yeah.
And that how can we be our sister's keeper when it comes to financial advancements, career development, and building wealth? Like how can we be each other's keeper in that way? We talk about girl code.
Yeah.
That should be like around like your money, your finances, and wanting to see like your people who are your actual people doing well.
Yeah.
So like this year we have like incredible speakers. We have Mrs. Ibiyinka Ibru, who I don't think I'm going to go into because I feel like most people know who that is. Okay, first female chairperson of First Bank, and she's the CEO of the Chair Center, which she's run for many years. And we have Mrs. Yewande Zaccheaus, who is the CEO of Harbour Point and Eventful. So anybody who's ever been to like a society wedding in Lagos or funeral in Lagos, you've gone to Harbour Point, you've been there before.
Like
OG of the events.
yeah,
like OG of the events game in Nigeria. And then so that's for the panel for like the women who are wiser and older. That, and when I say older, I mean by my generation, at least like millennials. We wanted to hear from people who have walked this path, for a long time. You have been your sister's keeper because all two of them are biological sisters, and one of them is their best friend. So there's that conversation about you're also successful, and well, you have money. Let's not beat around that bush. And you are friends, you are sisters. Like, let's talk about that. Second panel, we have our keynote speaker, Mrs. Mojisola Humpono. So she's the president of Woodhull Capital. And we're very excited for people to hear her speak because I'm part of her mentorship program, and she actually like changed my life. I feel like she expanded my mind like this in terms of what was possible. Then we have Mrs. Rolake Akinkube Filani, who's the CEO of like Energy Advisors, Bidemi Zakaria, who Faye and I actually both worked for. We actually both worked for her. Such an interesting story. And she is just exemplifies hard work and excellence. And then we have lots of fun things going on as well. Like, we have a product now that people can invest in. It's called the Mom Fund product. So last year, we know that so many people wanted to invest in the Mom Fund. And I was like, oh, I don't have a product. So like this year, I was like, I'm going to make sure we have a product. We have a financial product backed by our sponsor, First Ally. And then obviously our headline sponsor is Sparkle Microfinance Bank. But it's going to be a great time because what we don't want is a people to think that they're coming to like a finance event and they're like this.
Yes, they have
Everybody's
some,
like tense.
Yeah.
Everybody's a bit stressed. Oh my God, they're going to talk about money. I'm going to feel stupid. I'm going to feel stressed. I'm going to be feeling bad about my life. It's like, it's the opposite of that. Like it's fun. It feels like a celebration. It feels like you're like talking with your girls.
Yeah.
We make the event small on purpose. Like I remember last year it was 200 people. This year it's 250 people. And we decided to never make it bigger than that because we want you to feel cozy and like safe and like you're just like, like in a safe space. So like we're really looking forward to it this year. We've already sold like half of our tickets, like 50. No, it's more than that. It's more than that. Faye and I had a meeting this morning. It's probably like 70%. That's cool. So if you're listening to this, please run, don't walk. Because if it comes out on Tuesday, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to be by Tuesday.
But wait, let me ask then, because I mean, part of why I hadn't registered was I thought, okay, just moms. Is it just for moms?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you brought that up. No, it is not just for moms. So the reason why we did it just for moms is, first of all, Faye's mom, as in we call it the mom fund. Faye's company is a motherhood company. And I was like, I don't want it to be a generic event.
Yes.
But like, first of all, when you come in, we're not going to ask you if you have children. It's not about, oh, our children. We're just trying to speak to like a specific niche, like just from like a, I guess like a marketing perspective. But like, we're not going to be talking about our kids. Nobody's going to ask you if you have kids. Like, it doesn't matter. Please come. It's for anybody that wants to change their financial life. Anybody who wants sisterhood. Feel like they're not alone. If you want to learn from people who have done it before, and if you want to be able to take practical steps while you are at the event, please come. It is not just for mothers. It is not just for mothers. We know the name, the mom fund, but like, it is not just for mothers. It's literally for anybody who wants better for themselves, their communities, their industries, anything.
Okay. All right. I mean, I planned to be there, but I wanted to make sure that I asked you that question just in case somebody saw it and thought, okay, no, it's only for people with children. Okay. I have so many questions, but you know what? I don't want us to I want us to leave on a fun note. So let me see.
Okay.
Okay, I'll ask you this. If money disappeared tomorrow, if the entire human construct of currency ceased to exist, what would immediately reveal itself about who we are as people? What do you think?
Wow, that's such a good question. So there's no more money. What is it? Human beings are inherently selfish. I think that's the thing you're going to learn first. Human beings are very inherently selfish because, you know, before there was like paper currency or like standardized currency, there was barter. Okay. And it just depends on like where you think there's value, because at the end of the day, the underlying logic is still the same. Everything is about perceived value. That's why it's called a market. Willing buyer, willing seller. Okay. And when you now have to kind of like create markets on things that are not standardized and are a bit under, like I would say that they're subject to interpretation and like your own perspective, that's when you see how like inherently selfish human beings are. I know this sounds pessimistic. I'm not coming down on the human race. It's just a fact. Like if you have, you have an unfair advantage over somebody, you will exploit it. People think that, oh, if we remove money from the equation, we will be living in some kind of like utopian Eden. Absolutely not the case. As long as there are things that human beings need, there will always be some kind of like exchange, capitalism. There will always be somebody on top of somebody else, because like, and the only reason that is because we're inherently selfish. If human beings were not inherently selfish, then we would be living in Eden. You need this chair? Sure, take it. What am I getting in return? I need something too. What you got?
I would never have thought that was the answer. Like, I put the question, I just thought to myself, I'm also very probably, what's the word? Fanatical? Is that the word? No, that's not the word. Like, whatever the word is. Like,
I know what you mean.
Idealistic. Everything is fantasy.
I thought about it a lot. Like, what if there was no more money? I was like, that would not solve the human race's problems, actually. It would manifest in a different way. And actually, paper currency solved a lot of problems. Yeah, it solved a lot of problems, honestly and truly. But I just feel like
I agree. Like even slavery, like
I was just about to say even slavery, but I was like, let me not even enter that one now because I don't want to drag me online.
No, but there's nothing to drag. It's actually because, like you said, they will barter on something.
Yeah, they will barter on something, and human beings are inherently selfish. It has been there since the dawn of time. It's just like cycles that repeats itself in different ways. So yeah.
Okay. All right. My last serious question. when you imagine the Africa you're working towards, because I think one of the things you said was, it was always Nigeria for you. It took me 20 years, but that's how I feel about Nigeria as well. And so even here and finding difficulty with, what am I doing? What's next? I still can't imagine anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
And so when I'm thinking about that now, I'm saying, what does that look like? Not the investment portfolios. What does that Africa, and maybe in some cases, and I think sometimes it's okay to just be Nigerian focused sometimes, because we still have a long way to go to be able to do any blueprint for any other country. But what would you say it looks like?
I would say that it looks like access and equal opportunity, and I'll explain what I mean. I really don't like that, because we don't have infrastructure to. I think I would answer kind of financially, because that's my perspective. That's okay. We don't have infrastructure that allows people to move from different social classes, to move up social classes in Nigeria, right? We don't have credit. We don't have good education systems, like public education systems, and we don't have good public healthcare systems. So in terms of, it's very likely that if you are born poor in today's day and age, you are likely going to die poor. Okay, you're not going to magically become rich unless you go into politics, marry up, or do something unscrupulous. So I feel like I would want us to be able to have systems that allow for access. Like, how in America, you can literally come from nothing and you can be anything, that the American dream or whatever. That would greatly benefit this country, because there are people that I have met that are so much more intelligent than me, smarter than me, harder working than me. But the entire system is not even stacked against them. It doesn't exist. They can't move. And I'm like, this is so unfair. I'm not more intelligent than you. I don't work harder than you. I don't have more vision than you. I was just born. And I had opportunities, and you do not have this infrastructure that allows you to move. And even when you do move, there's that black tax, there's the anchor of the 100 people waiting to kind of bring you down. So I think about that a lot, and it makes me really sad, because just through my working career and work, you just get to meet so many people, and I'm like, wow, if you were born in a different social class, you would be doing insane and incredible things. So stuff like that makes me that's what I would want for this country, and then for Africa. And then also, what else I want for Africa is intra-Africa trade. I don't know why we haven't been able to figure that out. I really hope that I'm going to put this out there into the universe. I really hope that I get to be in a government position in my older ages, because I'm honestly, why have we not been able to figure this out? Because then Africa would be so incredible, because I'm between us, we can figure this out. We have all the stuff.
Seriously.
But I know that it's not that easy when it just comes to intra-country policy and stuff. But that would be that, to me, is utopia. Can we figure out intra-African trade and finance? Can we really figure it out? Even just things like transport. Do you know how it is to go from Lagos to Senegal?
No, seriously, it's ridiculous.
When I went in 2016, I flew to London and I flew back to Dakar. I was there are 4 countries down.
Seriously.
This makes no sense.
We were going to Mauritius through Uganda, and we had to stop in Ethiopia and Kenya. And
I was this.
It was just we had to have so much multiple stuff. And you had to buy the tickets. You couldn't buy it one. If I wanted to go from the US to London to I don't know, Australia, I could go to Delta and buy on one thing.
On one booking, I
had to go to Kenya Airways, I had to go to Ethiopian Airways, and then I had to go to Ugandan Airlines, and each of the time you're and then asking you, and you're trying to find all the multiple things in your phone, and you're what the hell?
Honestly.
No, it was really, really painful. And so when people say, oh, you've not been to places in Africa, I'm
people saying that all the time. I'm literally, I've been to 3 African countries, and I feel I should be ashamed, but it's not my fault. It's impossible. It's bloody impossible to move around.
I need a private jet.
And then what was I thinking about?
It's really crazy. It's really crazy.
And then I went to the so PiggyVest every year they release a report. It's called the PiggyVest. Actually, I don't know, PiggyVest savings reports, and they have a round table. They discuss it. I don't know. To me, it just shows you the real state of Nigeria, not just Lagos, because in many ways, I personally, I can't speak for everybody, I live in a bubble. I know I live in a bubble. This is not the reality of actually most Nigerians. I'm not even talking about poor Nigerians. I'm just talking about Nigeria as a whole is poorer than we think. Because on the PiggyVest report, they were talking about how most people in this country, when I say most, I don't mean like 50% or 30%. It's like 80% of people in this country do not earn more than 100,000 naira every single month. I'm like, that level of poverty, like it's astonishing. Okay, because I'm like, why? There's so much money in Nigeria, but it's so concentrated. And for the Piggyverse reports, like I've been following it every year that they've released. I think this should be their third one. The pie of people that have money, it just keeps shrinking.
I want to say, how do we encourage?
Yes, I'm doing my mouth. Sorry, I finished answering your question.
How do we encourage the person who's listening to this? Because you are right. I mean, you know, people. It often seems improbable to be able to leave that situation. But I do believe that you can. One story people don't know. I didn't go to America because my father had money. My father just said that he was going to send me to America, and I got there and we had to figure it out. And like my mom reminded me today, I slept in my car once in America. It was just the reality of this thing. The difference is in America, to your point, I mean, as an international student, so maybe not as much, but still, there's somewhere you can get like a social network or something that can help. But it's different because our social network is mostly relied on here is family
and friends.
Exactly. Whereas there's no family or friends over there. But I'm just saying that to say that I'm here, I'm alive, I'm like, I didn't go into depression, I didn't sell myself, I didn't. People do, because again, yes, America has some structural things. But there are people that really, really, truly rise to riches. They're the first person to ever go to school. They're the first person to ever, get a main job or something like that. Like, they're the ones literally, even now, some of these football players, they're the ones saving their parents and all of that stuff. So I do think there's hope. I guess is my point. Sometimes in the Nigerian context, it seems very, very hopeless. But if you could leave somebody with anything positive, what would you say?
Oh, I would say that you should never focus like on the realities of your environment. Just focus on like where you want to go and what you want to do. Because I feel like obviously if you are not trying, you're never going to get there.
Exactly.
If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know where you want to go, you're never going to get there. And then there's this like quote that says that you can't be what you can't see. So if you have an idea that, okay, this situation I grew up in, or like this situation I'm in is not desirable, I don't want to be on this level forever. Like, I want more for myself, for my family, for my future. Try and lock in on somebody. You don't have to know the person, even if it's somebody that you just see on social media. Like, I like how this person's life is set up. Kind of keep that at the front of your head and then try and like reverse engineer your life back. Don't try and take giant steps. Take baby steps. Like, so if you are earning like 50K a month and like you're doing your best and like that's just kind of like the best job you can find. Like, okay, what can I do to earn 70K a month? How can I increase my income by 20K? Instead of thinking that, man, I need to be earning 500K. Like, you can't make quantum leaps when it comes to your finances and like your wealth. I feel like that's something people get wrong. Like, it's never quantum. Well, it's not never. You could win the lottery, but it's unlikely to be quantum.
I like how you said you could win the lottery.
You could, like, or you
is there lottery in Nigeria?
I don't know. You can inherit money, so many things can happen. But like usually, it's when you try and focus on quantum leaps that you get discouraged and you get depressed because you cannot see any way how you're going to get from here to there. What is good to focus on is baby steps. Okay, what is the next smallest thing I can do to improve my situation? And then focus on that. And then you will do it. What is the next smallest thing? By the time you do next smallest thing for 2 years, your life will look completely different. So just try and focus on the next smallest thing. Don't, like, if you are somebody that you can't make ends meet at the end of every month, you have to borrow from microfinance banks just to eat and transport yourself. Not that you are going shopping, not that you are doing anything. And that's your reality. You don't want to be following people who are investing millions in the stock market. That's just not your reality at the time. What you want to focus on is, how can I increase my income so I can make it to the end of the month? When you do that, how can I save 10K every month? Small baby steps. You can have your big picture goal in mind, but like your focus at every given point in time should be on the next smallest step, as opposed to overwhelming yourself and getting depressed and discouraged because you're trying to make a quantum leap and you can't see the steps.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice.
I really like that, honestly. I mean, and please, if I add anything else, even in that 50K, even if it's 1K you're saving in a high yield savings interest account of some sort, I promise you at the end of the year, at least you have, I don't know, whatever the rate is. Let's say the rate is 5%. My math is not good, but at least 1K plus, let's say it's a year, that's 12K, whatever else the interest rate is. And that's just some addition, something that you can add to yourself at the end of the year. So if I can add anything, that is what I will say. Okay. This was fantastic. And I cannot believe, I'm pretty sure we don't 1 hour now, which I still feel like we've only done like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like we just started talking. This was so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, no, please. Thank you so much.
So good.
You get to ask me one question. Any question of your choice.
Why is it called The World Without People? I feel like you've been asked to say
yes, so you have to find another question. I will answer it, but you still have to find another question.
I'll ask you another
in case
question.
There's somebody.
I wanted to ask you before we started rolling, but we didn't get to. Because I was like, I'm sure that she's been asked a billion times. Such a boring question.
Interestingly enough, I had it as a question for you. I said my show is called The World Without People because I believe the most interesting thing in the world is people. You've built a career around the relationship between people and their money. Yeah. What's your answer? What would the world look like without people? I feel like we kind of also answered it, so that's why I didn't say anything. But it's not necessarily, I mean, it doesn't, putting it as just the most interesting thing about the world is people is also, minimizing it a bit. I just think that there's a thread, how you said like Lagos is becoming smaller and smaller. I just feel like I continue to see the thread of connection between people. Yeah. And again, I've been fortunate enough now by doing this and, revealing, for me, it's revealed what I thought. We all are connected. I don't know how else to say it. Like, we're all going through the same thing.
The human experience, man.
Do you understand? Yeah. And if you don't talk, right? And one of the things I really, really hate is that we as Nigerians tend to hide things. Yeah. So if you've listened to my podcast, we've talked about sex. We've talked about miscarriage and death and, divorce. Yeah. In fact, several times on divorce. We talked about the topics that people and more importantly, regular people. Yeah. Because if you're
not celebrities, this podcast is like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, interviewing famous people, and just like that's why like when you asked me, I was like, I'm just like a regular girl. Like what do you like? I don't have anything to say.
I talk to regular people, and I talk to regular people because I want people to know that you're not, I don't want to say you're not unique in your experience because it will be unique to you. Yeah. But that thing that you're going through, I promise you, like I think you said it as well. Somebody has gone through it, and if we pay attention, because sometimes, like you said, we're selfish, and especially when you're going through something, you're stuck in this me, and this is me, and God is not nice to me, and everything is that, and if you can't remind yourself of this story, it's almost like testimonies, right? Yeah. Like that's why the Bible says that we should share those testimonies because it's victory to somebody else, right? And it enables somebody else. And I think for me, that's the big reason that I'm doing this. Like I was telling you earlier, people have connected through this. People have, many different kind of relationships have been birthed around this, and people just being inspired. And I think, that's why I'm still doing this, and that's why.
So then, during this podcast, what has it challenged about the way you saw the world, like the way you see people?
That's a question I've not been asked before. That is awesome. What has it challenged about the way I see people? I think one, I realize the resilience of people more and more. People are going through stuff, man. Yeah. And like my last episode was with Tai and, talking about losing, her dad, her siblings. And if you see Tai outside, she's just an amazing person, very bubbly, very, just having a good time. She calls me Young Money Nife when we're having our next party. And I'm like, you would not have known that person could carry that much. I almost want to hug her every week. Like, I almost want to be sending her a message every week. Like, are you sure you're okay? Because I could never have thought that was possible. When my friend Kike had talked about, losing children, like, thank God she has 3 beautiful children now. But in that process, and she even talked about the fact that she had to go to the grave. Like, how normally you're not supposed to go to the... And I'm just like, what would I have been like if that was
Yeah.
my story? How would I have, So I think the resilience of people, the strength of people, but just finding people doing amazing stuff. Like, I mean, I'm jealous. I'm always jealous and always also inspired because I've met a lot of people doing inspiring stuff. What you're talking about is inspiring stuff. Like, there are things that I feel like I know, but I'm like, okay, clearly I need to sit down with Ibi and like let's figure these things out. And I think, I think we need to talk more.
Yeah.
Please, like, just as good. You will,
This is great.
It's really it's all right. But yes, for me, especially because I'm not necessarily the most social of people, this has been very helpful in meeting people and I think in just really, in really seeing, because again, that outside, what's it called? Instagram cannot, do you understand? Like, you see somebody on Instagram and you think you know everything about them.
Yeah, you really don't. You
Yeah,
really
so
don't.
please, if I leave you guys with nothing else, have a conversation. And I think one thing you said, ask questions.
Ask questions, yeah.
Like,
ask
literally,
questions.
ask questions. You never know. I'm like, yesterday with my best friend, we were talking about something, and I was like, okay, but is this, like, I want you to dig deep as to why you have this thought process.
Yeah. Is
this because of man? Is this because of what we think we know? Or is this because of, some trauma or some, so it's not even just enough to ask questions. I think asking the right questions as well.
Asking the right questions.
Asking open-ended questions, you will never really find me asking a question that's just yes or no.
Yeah. Because
that's the only way you get to talk more.
Yeah, and you get to know what people are thinking.
Yeah. Okay, this is not supposed to be about me, but yeah. Honestly, this has been really, really amazing. You're going to see this before the Mom Fun comes on May 15th.
May 15th.
So please, if you don't, we'll put a link as well. Please make sure that you
come. You don't have to be a mom. Please come. It's going to be so incredible and so fun. And we have so many exciting surprises planned. And we just want everybody to come to feel like loved and leave feeling like you've done something, because you will do something while you're there. Like, you've done something that's put you on a trajectory to change your life. Like, I'm so excited.
Okay.
Can't wait to see you girls.
And I think the first person that says, and this is how I know if you've listened to the end of this conversation, the first person that says Mom Fund on anything I see first, whether it's YouTube or Instagram, I promise to get you your ticket. So definitely, please come. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. This was such a great conversation. Yay. I really enjoyed talking to you. I wish I could have asked you all the same questions, but like, obviously time. But
it's okay. We always do part 2. Maybe not always, but we've done part 2. So we might have to come back. You guys let me know if you need a part 2, and then you can also send me questions as well, and we'll make sure to do that. All right. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Come to the world without people.